Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My brother guys, thank you so much for all your support. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome to my channel. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Today I'll be making a simple panel dress. This is African print, 6 years of African print, lining, and I will also need this to stabilize the fabric. This is stiffening. It's called a different name in different places, but this one is called a stiffening. It's also called a collar stay or collar gum. It's a fusible type. It has a gum on one side of it. I want to cut the lower part of the dress. I'll minus the upper part of the dress from the full length of the dress. The full length of the dress is 62 inches. And the upper part from her shoulder to above her knee is 37 inches, but she wants 35 inches. She wants the lower part to start from 35 inches, from her shoulder to 35 inches. So I'm going to minus 35 from 62 inches, which is 27 inches. So the length of the panels, the lower part will be 27 inches, but I'll add some allowance to turn it with the lining on the lower part and also to join it to the upper part. I'm going to draft pattern for the lower part of the dress, the panels. On the lower part, how many inches you use on the lower part of the dress depends on how many fabric that you have and also how full you want it on the lower part. So like today, I'm going to use a 26 inches. So this fabric is folded into two. Because it's folded into two, I'll divide 26 inches into 2. 26 divided by 2 is 13. And then I'll add seam allowance. I'll add seam allowance of 1 inch. 26 plus 1 is 27. 27 divided by 2 is 13 and a half. So I'll mark 13 and a half on this side. So I have enough. I have up to 14 and I have enough. So this line is the starting line. From this line to this point is the length of the lower part, the panels, is 27 inches. So the circumference, the knee circumference I'm going to use to cut this will be her hip measurement minus 4 inches. She doesn't want it that tight. Her hip measurement minus 4 inches. Her hip is 40. 40 minus 4 is 36. So because I'm going to cut 12 panels, I'll divide 36 into 12. So 36 divided by 12 is 3. Because this fabric is folded into 2, I'll divide 3 into 2 again. So 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So what I'll mark here is 1.5. But I'll add seam allowance to it also on this side. So I'll add 1 inch seam allowance. So 36 divided by 12 is 3 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance is 4 inches. So I'll mark 2 inches here. So I'll mark 2 inches here because of 1.5. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5 plus ½ inch. Seam allowance is 2. So on the lower part here, I'll mark 13.5. So on this side, I'll come up by 3 inches. From that 3 inches, I'll connect it to this line. And also from here, I'll connect it to this line also. I'll mark 13 inches, 13.5 inches on this line. So from up here, I'll connect it to this line. So from 2 inches here, I'll connect it to 13.5 on this line. If you like, you can cut this on bias, it's still okay. Okay, so from this is the full length, 27 inches. I went up by 3 inches. So from these 3 inches, I'll curve it to this line. So this is the line that I'm going to cut. But I'll add seam allowance, half-inch seam allowance on this side and half-inch seam allowance on the top here. I've added seam allowance, half-inch, and also on the lower part. So I'm going to cut it on this line. On this line, the seam allowance line. I have seam allowance on this side already. So I'll do it and show you. This is one of the lining. I'll cut 11 more of this to make it 12 for the lining. Then I'll use this as pattern. I'll put it on top of the main fabric and cut 12 from the main fabric. I cut 12 of this. Of this, the main fabric, and also 12 of this. This is the remaining one. I'll use this for the upper part of her dress. 1 yard plus. So this is how I cut. This is how I cut the pattern, how I manage the fabric. So this is how I cut the main fabric. This is how I put the pattern on the main fabric and cut it. This is Savage by 45. So I put the pattern on the fabric this way and cut out the main fabric. So because this type of the print on this fabric is the type that I can turn to any side. So that's why. I've ironed this to the main fabric, the 12 pieces. So what I'll do next is to use lining to turn this, to turn it with lining. This is the right side. I will now put the lining this way. I have half-inch seam allowance on this side, so also on half-inch seam allowance. So after that, I will notch and top stitch. So I've already done this one. I notched and top stitch on the lining. I put this seam on the lining side and top stitch on the lining side. What I'll do next is to sew this lining on this side with half-inch seam allowance. So after that, it will be like this. On this particular dress, I'm not going to use boning, but you can use boning on your own. You know, there's different ways of making this dress, different method of making it. There's different types of interfacing that you can use to make it. So, but there are some that you can use like up to 3 lines of boning to support it. But like this particular one, this one that I'm using today, this is the same thing that I used on the other panel dress. So like this one, you need only 1 line of boning on each panel. Only 1 line on each panel. So all the 12 panels will have boning. So this boning is the type that you can sew on. You can sew on the 2 edge or in the middle. So you will sew boning on the length of the dress. On the length of the dress, you know I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. I'll come up by 1/2 inch and sew boning on the 1/2 inch line. On the 2 edge on this side, you will come in by 1/2 inch so that you will not sew boning on your seam allowance. Your boning will start from somewhere here and stop before your seam allowance. So, but before you sew boning on this, you will sew it on this interfacing. This is a collar stay, collar gum stiffening. You know, it's called different name in different places. You will sew your boning first on this before you will iron it on the main fabric so that the line will not show. So you will not sew it on the shiny side because the shiny side have gum. You're going to iron it on the main fabric. You sew it on this side. This side. You sew your boning on this side of the fabric, not on the shiny side. This side have gum. This gum is going to be on the main fabric. So, but I'm not going to sew boning on this one because she doesn't want boning. And this is the way you sew your boning. You see, the boning is curved this way. So this way, you will sew it on this interfacing before you iron it on the main fabric. You will sew it. You will not sew it just straight. You will sew it the same shape with this lower part. The same curve, the same shape. If you are using less fabric to make it, you will iron this interfacing, this collar stay, collar gum, stiffening. You will iron it on the satin, maybe bridal satin or any type of satin that you're using. You will iron it on it first before you will now sew your boning, because the lace fabric will cover the stitches when you add the lace fabric. So use boning on your own. I prefer the ones that I made with boning to the ones without boning. But I'm not going to use boning on this one because she doesn't want boning. You will join the 12 panels together, but the way you do it to be easier, when you're joining it, you will tidy up the rough edge with bias. This is right side of the fabric and right side. You sew from down. After that, you now trim it and use bias. You fold your bias this way. You trim the edge a little bit and fold the bias in and start from up here and sew bias to it to the end, and you will cut it and fold it in again. And fold it in again. Then you will now use it to cover it and sew it. Fold it in, sew it from here to the end, and you will turn it again and fold it in on the lower part also and sew it to up here. So you can see mine. So do it as you sew. So what I'll do next is just to sew this one to these ones, and then I'll sew it to the upper part. So I'll finish with the lower part. I use bias to tidy up all the edge. Also this side. So now what I'll do next is to sew the lower part to the upper part. This is upper part of the dress. Off shoulder -5 inches. I replace it with a band. I'll fix the sleeve later. This fabric has finished. I'll use black lace or black organza to fix the sleeve later. So this is the back. my zip will stop here. If you like, you fix your zip first, or after sewing the two together, the upper part and the lower part, you fix your zip and close the remaining center line. Put it like this. Right side. I will notch the center front on the dress, upper part, and center front on the lower part. I'll put them together. Get the center back line and this edge. Put it together. And use half-inch seam allowance to join them. After that, I'll use bias to tidy up this side. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.